Hi, thank you all for coming. So sorry for being a little late to start here, but we're really excited to jump into today's lunch and learn. I'm just going to wait, 30 seconds for everybody to pop into the Zoom and we'll jump right in. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and share my screen here and we can begin today. For those of you who don't know what today's topic is about, today we are talking about everything online. So, what you can do to get more online sales. I'm going to speak a lot about Shoptiques, but I'm also going to speak to your own websites as well. I really want to make sure that you guys are able to get as many sales as possible, both from Shoptiques and from your own website as possible. So just bear with me, and then at the end we'll do a little Q&A. As always, this session is being recorded, so if you have to jump off or if you can't make it, you can share it with somebody later on. Oh, how do I present? Okay, perfect. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to kind of start by kicking off talking about my favorite topic, product listings. We'll then kind of move into kind of product assortment and merchandising a little bit. And then lastly, end with marketing your site and some Q&A. This will be an ongoing series that we talk about. So, we're going to try to get as much in as possible today in our session, but it'll be ongoing and more to come down the road. So, product listings. If any of you have ever met with me, you've probably heard a lot of what I'm about to say right now. If you've ever met with Elliot or anyone else on our team, the most important thing about online and online sales is your product listings. Your product listings is the key to getting people to buy, getting people to keep. And more importantly, it's the way you can communicate with your customers online and build that relationship and that authenticity. So, what makes a good listing and what makes a bad listing? We're going to kind of take a look at both of these in a moment. So, first off, the product name is super important to everything online. It's important for search within the website. It's important for SEO from search engines like Google and Yahoo. And it's important for customers to identify with the product and for conversion as well. So, what makes a good product name? You want the name to be short, but not too short. You want a few adjectives in there. And it needs to be descriptive of what the product is, not just the product name. So you don't want to call, let's say you have, here's an example of the Amelia cardigan. So Amelia was named by the brand. Anybody who knows the brand will know the name Amelia. That's probably 1 in every 10 customers. The rest of the customers on the site are searching for things like striped cardigan, slouchy cardigan, wool cardigan. So you want to make sure that when you name the product, you're putting in some of the adjectives that they're searching for on the search bar. The way customers engage with a site has changed and evolved so much over time. So about, 5 years ago, people were really looking through what's new, looking through categories, going by brand, and that's how they were shopping. Today, they're either going by brand because they know something and they're searching for a specific item, or they're going to the search bar in the top of your website and they're typing in what it is they're looking for and hoping for it to populate, just like you do on Google every single day when you have a question. You go to it, you ask it a question, and it gives you the outcome that you're looking for. That's how they're engaging with your site. So you want to make sure that your product names are going to pop up with whatever they search for. You should include the name of the product if it's a big brand that you think they're going to search by name so they can find it by name. But if you're going to call it the, Gianni maxi dress, you want to say, Gianni V-neck maxi dress or, polka dot dress, whatever it is that defines the garment that you think will work. The key here, though, is you can't have more than 5 words, really. You don't want to have a name that's wrapping around 2 or 3 lines. It just looks really bad for the customer. It visually doesn't look good when you're going through a list of products. And at a certain point, too many adjectives is confusing the customer as to what they're actually finding. So try to find the best adjectives, but keep it short and sweet. I'm going to move on to the descriptions a little bit. The descriptions are equally as important to the names. Descriptions are other things that they can search by. So yes, they're searching by the name of the product and that pulls in for SEO, but all of your descriptions and words that you put in your descriptions are also searchable on our site. So if you put in your description like orange glazed candle, and they go and they search for orange candle, you're going to pull up even if orange isn't in the name of your product. So that's really important about the description. You want to make sure you have all the words in there that you need, all the buzzwords in there for SEO so that it pulls on your own websites. I know I've said this before, but on your own websites, make sure that you put in a product number if you have it, if it's a recognizable brand. That will really help with organic search from Google. If somebody goes and searches for that style number, you'll pull closer to the top if you have that in your description. The other things that are really key and fundamental to a good description, fit and fabric. So make sure that your customer knows all the things that they would know if they were in the store. They can't feel the garment, they can't hold the garment, they don't know how it's going to flow and fit. So make sure you're putting that in the description. The description should say, here's what the item is, here's how it closes. Is there a zipper in the back? Is there buttons up the side? Is there a hidden closure internally? It should say, is the fabric light or heavy? Does it stretch? Does it have give in it? Is it dry clean only? All the things that a customer would get if they were in your physical store, those are the same questions they have online. So you want to make sure your description has that in there. The last thing that is really helpful when it comes to clothing and also home goods is sizing information. So with clothing, obviously, what's the bust, what's the waist, what's the hips, so they know if they can physically fit in the garment, any measurements. Length is a really important one as well, especially when it comes to mini skirts and mini dresses, or even long maxi dresses for shorter girls. And then the length of things when it comes to like earrings and home goods and handbags, same kind of questions come up. How big is it? If you can take an earring and you can put it alongside a ruler and take a picture, that's going to be, a much better thing for a customer to be able to see the size versus having none of that information in there. The last thing that's really important is your actual pictures. And I'm going to show you examples of these in a second of what's good and what's bad. But having as many pictures as possible of the item is really helpful for the customer. They want to be able to see front, back, side, and at multiple times, they want multiple versions of the front, multiple versions of the back. They really want you to kind of move around and be able to see the garment. So the more pictures you can, the better. Nowadays, there's so many amazing vendor images out there, and typically they have 4 to 5 different views that they're giving you. Take as many of them as you can. I know it takes an extra second to load the product. I definitely know, all of these things I'm saying require more time to upload, but if you do the work and you upload a great product and you do a great description, you're gonna see the results. And it's better to do the work up front and see the results than to quickly get a product up that nobody's gonna ever buy. So let's kind of take a look at some of the things that we mean by what's a well-taken picture and what's a good description. So from a description standpoint, you see on the right kind of a description, and the description is a little bit vague. You don't really know what's going on there. It's love at first sight. It all happens in the right dress. It's a little bit flowery and poetic in what they're trying to write. That's not going to sell. What's going to sell is, this is an A-line miniskirt with asymmetrical waistband. Here's how it's going to fit. Here's the rayon fabric and it's certified. Those are the facts that the customers want. They don't want to hear anything flowery or nice. They want to hear exactly what it is. They want to hear how it's going to fit. They want to hear how it's going to flow. Even if it's just bullet points. Literally, you can just write bullet points like bullet 1, fit, bullet 2, this, bullet 3, this. They don't need full sentences. In fact, we all have short attention spans. A lot of times we don't read full sentences. So bullets are great, sentences are fine, but don't waste your time and energy trying to come up with the right thing to say or the right way to say it. Just write it. Just get it out there and get as much detail as possible. From a picture standpoint, a couple of things to call out here. You'll see on the left, we have this blue dress where she has, 4 different views and visions of the dress. You're seeing front, you're seeing close up, you're seeing back, you're seeing a zoomed out kind of side look. This just helps the customer visualize it in different ways. One step better than this, and I've seen it a lot with newer vendors, is having different models. So if you're fortunate enough to have a vendor with multiple model shots in the item. Doesn't happen with all vendors, doesn't happen with all brands, but the more the customer can visualize it on different body types and different people, the better. They love variety. They want to be able to picture themselves in it. And a lot of times people don't picture themselves as the models. So having that variety really helps a little bit. On the flip side, kind of what not to do in images, you know, I can't stress enough how to avoid mannequins. Avoid mannequins as much as possible. Customers just don't resonate with mannequins anymore. There's something about the mannequin that just doesn't work for the customer. They can't picture it on their body. It doesn't really have the right same flow as you would see on a body. So whenever possible, try to get a model, try to get a vendor image. If you don't have a model, try to find, one of your store girls, or maybe a friend, or a friend's daughter, depending on who your friends are. But if you can get a person in the item, it's going to sell better than on a mannequin and better than on a hanger. If you can't get it on a person, if there's that, you just really want to get it online, but you can't get it on a person, go for a hanger look against a clean wall. If you're going to go for the hanger look, have it be a nice wooden hanger, not a cheap plastic hanger, not, a hanger that's, maybe a little flimsy plastic, just go for a nice wooden hanger up against a clean back surface. Make it look like it's visually, like artistically taken, versus just kind of, oh, I hung this on a hanger over my dressing room door and I'm taking a quick shot of it. They really do want to have aspirational, beautiful images. Images sell products just like descriptions do. The third option is to kind of do a flat lay. Flat lays are kind of a hit or miss, but they definitely do work if they're done right. Make sure if you're doing a flat lay, especially if it's like a t-shirt or something, a flat lay would be fine. Just make sure you have it nice, flat, like no wrinkles. You don't want to have like a wrinkly kind of picture of a flat lay. You want it to look really crisp and sharp, like it was intended to be a flat lay, not like it was accidentally taken on the floor. And then obviously where you take it, make sure you're doing it. I think a hardwood surface, like hardwood floor, is always good, or a white table, something clean, something, visually appealing. Definitely don't take it over like multiple different surfaces. Don't really take it on a rug. A rug creates this dimension that makes it really difficult for the customer to see the garment itself. So try to steer clear of any distracting backgrounds or distracting floors when you're taking your pictures as a flat lay or at a hanger option. If you're taking your pictures on a person, you can take them outside, you can take them against a white wall, but similarly, try to avoid taking them in the middle of the store where there's lots of stuff around. Don't take them in front of a distracting background or a big mural. Try to think about how the garment needs to pop in the image, and make sure you're taking it where the item itself is the thing popping and not the item background behind it. The third thing to be really careful about with images is blurriness. We see so many images on Shoptiques that are super, super blurry. This could happen for one of two reasons. One is you might grab the vendor image, but take it from the small thumbnail instead of the big image. So when you blow it up for Shoptiques, it becomes really pixelated and blurry. Try to avoid that. Two is, it could just be a bad picture in the first place that was taken. Uploading a blurry or pixelated picture is going to result in little sales. It's not as bad as I would say a mannequin is, but it's definitely not going to get you any visibility in our lookbooks. It's not going to get you visibility in our emails. It's not going to get you visibility on our homepage. So the more you can pay attention to your images and everything like that, the better you're going to be. The other reason you want to kind of pay attention to that blurriness is, even if that product isn't featured by Shoptiques, you want to make sure that the flow of your what's new looks good. You want to have consistency and conciseness as you're going down a page and have it look really buttoned up. The more you can do that, the better. Some of our boutiques have gone to, there's kind of two different things you can do. One is using vendor images. The other is to use images that you take yourself. So some of our boutiques have moved towards taking their own images on their own person so they can have that consistency across a page. Here's an example of one of our boutiques who did that and had that consistency across. The consistency just creates that branding opportunity and conversation with the customer. And again, you want to make sure that everything you do is looking really visually appealing. If you don't have all the images on yourself, or you don't have the consistency of yourself and the same model in all the pictures, that's totally fine. That's very common. That happens a lot in, even Revolve has different models going down their homepage. So I'm not recommending that everybody go out and take all the pictures on themselves. What I'm recommending is consistency across the way you're posting. So, making sure that you're not mixing mannequin pictures with people pictures, making sure that you don't have blurry pictures with regular good pictures, making sure that every listing you have really belongs there and looks good alongside each other. So when they're looking at your new arrivals or your sale page or your category pages or your Shoptiques page, they're seeing consistently good product listings the same way they do when they go to Our What's New. The last thing that I kind of want to call out is the main image. A lot of times people put in, 5 images, but they don't pay attention to what that main image is. Make sure the main image is the right image. That is the first window into your items. That's the first time the customer is seeing it. And you really want to make sure that they are seeing the best picture of the product so that they click in and they look through the rest of the pictures. So definitely try to make it be a front view, not a black view. You want it to be not too far zoomed out, but also not too zoomed in, if that makes any sense. So you want to have the full garment in the picture, but you don't need to have the full body. If it's like a top, it can be kind of a halfway up shot so you can get the picture really close up and see the item. And then, if you have multiple colors and there's one color that you think is stronger, putting that one to the top as well is really helpful. When it comes to colors and what colors are stronger or not stronger, obviously some people like color, people buy color, and the colors change based on time. But the constant winners when it comes to color: black, white, beige, navy, every time. Then you kind of go into your reds and your greens and your yellows and your others. So if you have a product that comes in 4 different colors, you might want to put the black first, or you might want to put a bright color first, depending on the item itself. And then obviously the rest of the images would be in there as well. Perfect. So that's kind of a little bit about products and listings. I definitely am going to allow you guys to ask more questions in the end, but just want to kind of move on here to product assortment and merchandising so that we can kind of get through everything. So product assortment and merchandising, this is always going to be an ongoing topic of all of our lunch and learns because it's the number one question I get asked. What's selling on Shoptiques? What are your customers buying? What should I be spending my time uploading? So going to kind of give you guys 3 different things here. I'm going to give you a snapshot of what sold in March and what's coming up for April and May so you can get the most opportunity for visibility. So here were our top lookbooks for the month of March. Designed by women should be no surprise. It was International Women's Month, so women was very much on everyone's mind and in every conversation from a marketing perspective for every company out there. So women designed things was by far our strongest collection, yielded the most sales for us. It did happen to have in that collection a lot of neutral tones and a lot of fancier, not fancier, but casual to going out kind of outfits, silky things, gauzy things, draping things. And that was really what was in that collection. Was going out stuff, not a lot of lounge and activewear, which should be no surprise. Activewear, nobody's buying right now. They're so sick of it. They're really ready for the going out kind of stuff. Stripes was our second top seller, really, really popular. Corsets, cropped looks, kind of not just corsets, but also anything from a cropped look to cropped sweaters, cropped tops. Again, that makes sense as people are starting to think about going out, especially younger people going to bars and stuff like that. That kind of outfits makes a lot of sense for them. Sheer detailing was a lookbook that was kind of, again, that gauzy, very similar to the Design by Women styles where it was kind of gauzy, see-through, those kind of items, layering pieces. Layering pieces just in general tend to do really well in the spring because of seasons being so different across the US. So people are going from hot and cold and hot and cold. So they like to have things they can put on and take off and still have a cute outfit on underneath. And then lastly, our Keeping It Classic lookbook was, again, the same, very similar to the Women's Day Design by Women's lookbook, had predominantly basic colors, black, white, beige. but it was outfits for work, structured tops, structured bottoms, denim, not any of the lounge or activewear, but just keeping it really, classic styles that you could wear anytime, anywhere, dress up, dress down. And that was a really popular seller for us as well. For actual, just to give you guys some like visual samples of what was selling so you can see from a color and flow standpoint. Here were our top brands. It obviously, changes very much month to month. Lily Pulitzer, she always becomes a popular brand in spring just due to the nature of the products. If you guys are familiar with the line, it's a lot of bright colors, resorty, floral, really New England style. And it does really well in spring because people are looking for that vacation resorty wear kind of stuff. Hem and Thread, Mint Cloud was a lot of sweaters. Charlie B has been just a really strong brand for us for the last couple months and growing as a brand. Their price point and their product assortment seems to really be resonating with a lot of shoppers today. And so it's definitely a great brand right now. Tempo Paris is great for the older ladies, and we see a lot of sales from it. It's our, one of our number one sellers for older ladies right now, along with Inoa is the other one. Inoa is kind of, if you're not familiar with it, they've got like cutesy graphics on them, kind of comfy-ish clothing for grandmas, but people seem to love it. We also saw, Mono B, Z Supply, though I'll be honest about the Mono B and Z Supply are kind of decreasing at the moment for us. Mono B makes sense because it's all the activewear. Lots of people are just kind of shying away from activewear right now. They're just a little bit sick of it from COVID and they're ready for dresses and stuff like that. From a style perspective, what you're seeing here is a lot of floral, a lot of dresses, but all of the dresses are kind of a little bit flowy, and you're seeing that across the tops as well. I think people are still carrying their COVID weight and they're looking for cute outfits that kind of cover it up a little bit. So you have the, empire waist, you have the flow, just straight shift dresses going on. Even in your tops, you're seeing kind of the flowier styles over here. And then kind of skirts that are maxi or midi length skirts that have flow and give to them. Those will continue to be really strong, those maxi skirts through the summer. Those are one of our top sellers through summer. Any sort of maxi or midi style from a skirt or dress perspective, people love it for going, whether it's casual or going out at night, that they can dress up or down. Other styles that we saw, again, a lot of the basic colors, a lot of neutrals, but a few pops of color. You're seeing your Lily Pulitzer over here in your pants and your floral. And then, again, dresses and midi skirts. The other thing that we're seeing kind of pick up a lot is pants. So people are definitely buying pants, but they're buying them in one or two styles, kind of this more looser fitting, baggy kind of poncho style pant. And then we also have a lot of denim, like mother denim though, not like skinny jeans, leggings, anything like that. We're seeing a lot of denim starting to sell, but definitely less structured, more relaxed styles, boyfriend style jeans for sure. There's one particular brand of jeans called Risen Jeans, which over the last 3 weeks has just skyrocketed as a brand for us. Their price point is on the lower end, maybe a little bit under 100. I don't know much about the brand. I'm not sure if it's just an anomaly, but they've definitely been getting a lot of sales, but they have a lot of those relaxed styles. And I think that could also be driving some of our metrics at the moment. The last thing that I mentioned that we saw a lot of was kind of the crops and the corsets, the sheer overlaying kind of stuff that you're seeing in here. And then, again, just getting ready to go out. You're not seeing any lounge in here really, aside from a few sweaters here and there. The sweaters are starting to kind of fade out as we're moving more and more into spring and summer. People will still buy sweaters in spring and summer, but they're going to be looking more for like cardigans and layering sweaters, lighter kind of summer pieces to go over dresses and stuff like that, and less of like the pullover, bulky sweaters that you see in kind of fall, winter timeline. So what's coming up for Shoptiques? We have already finalized our April calendar, and these are most of the lookbooks that will be coming for the remainder of the month. starting next week. We've already done our lookbooks through the weekend, but for anyone who wants to be included in lookbooks upcoming, we wanted to give you this visibility. And if you want dates of these exact lookbooks, we are more than happy to share that with you as well, so you know by what date. Generally speaking, we do the lookbook about a week before the email. So if you want to be included in the email, you want to have your styles up a week before the lookbook. The email is going to go out. These are in order of the lookbooks. They just don't have the dates. So coming up first at the beginning of next week on Monday is going to be a statement shoes email. We have a mini skirts email after that. Statement shoes, we mean kind of bright colors, chunky styles. We're seeing a lot of clear heels. We're seeing a lot of wedges, not a lot of stilettos yet. That hasn't really come back, like those high heels, formal wear. Definitely seeing heels come back, but more in the, if you think like summer outdoor wedding kind of heel, where you have like a chunkier heel, you have a wedge, you have something like that, not like those super high-end fancy Louboutins just yet. I'm sure they'll come back at some point, but just not yet for us at least. Mini skirts, we're going to do a little feature on that. And then bold patterns. For bold patterns, we're probably going to have floral, maybe some tie-dye in there, maybe some, abstract patterns on there, graphic design kind of stuff, like graphic tees, any sort of pattern you can think of that isn't like an actual like drawing of a person kind of a thing. But, stripes, other things, something bold. Camel and brown is kind of a color feature. Feeling sporty is going to be a little bit mostly active wear, less athleisure wear, more active wear. So really meant for like working out, going out, like that kind of stuff. Exercise, not like lounging at home or going to the grocery store kind of clothing. Mini dresses should be self-explanatory. We'll do another kind of corsets. Probably will be more corsets, crop tops than just corsets at that point. So just kind of crops for summer. And then another color, kind of focus on sage and green as we head out towards the end of April. We will also, not trend specific, but we'll also be doing a lot this month for Mother's Day. So there'll be gift guides and stuff for Mother's Day upcoming. So we definitely want to make sure if you guys have good gifts or things that should be included for Mother's Day, that you get those up online as well. Mother's Day is May 9th. So, we're going to try to push it really hard the second 2 weeks of April, because, as we get into May, it'll be a little bit late for ordering online and guaranteed delivery. So Mother's Day outfits, Mother's Day gifts, both of those will be definitely prominent in April as well. And then looking one step forward into May, we haven't solidified everything yet, but kind of what's on our mind. We're looking for, we're starting summer. So warm weather essentials, colorful stuff, colorful accessories, sticking with the crop tops and cropped looks. And then, obviously some activations around the holidays that are happening. This year, tax day falls in May. So we'll definitely be doing a big sale and push around tax day. More details to follow on that, if it's going to be, a flash sale or something else, but it's definitely a day we want to capitalize on. It's always been a good day for us online for sales as people get those checks from the government. Okay, so, sorry. And then lastly, just kind of giving you an example of what kind of trends we're thinking about or looking towards as we look towards May and April. You're seeing kind of the florals and the pastels a little bit. Again, everything we're doing is going to be more about going out clothes and less about athleisure and lounge. So when you're thinking about what am I buying, what am I putting on Shoptiques, think, in those regards. And if you're going to have active wear, have it be actual active wear, and it'll get more features than like, say, a lounge set. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about today before we go to Q&A is just kind of how do you market your site and how do you get eyeballs on your site? Obviously, the biggest benefit of Shoptiques is we do all this for you. So this is just purely for your own website. How can you get sales on your own website? And, for Shoptiques, that's the value add that we bring, is we do all of these things I'm about to say. So first and foremost, the same as the product listings, your website is the most important thing, that it looks professional and clean, that it's on brand and, looks like you, has your logo, has your voice, and is super, updated and fresh with what's actually going on in the store. Your website homepage is the same as your window for your store. If your window doesn't look refreshed and new all the time and it doesn't look super clean and pretty, no one's coming in your storefront. That is the way you grasp that traffic out the door. So your website is the same thing. That homepage is what's grasping the traffic and pulling them into your site. So you want to make sure you have just a really strong looking homepage, something that is reflecting the color palette of your branding and your logo, and also conveying the message of who you are, giving them a chance to get to know about you. A lot of people like to know about the places they're shopping from. They, especially with a small business owner, they want a nice about us page. They want to hear your story. They want to feel like they're supporting you. So make sure that you're conveying that on the website. They want to know who you are and what makes you so special. You can do that in a lot of different ways. It can be your story of how you started. It can be your team and who works for you and what you're all about and your mission. It can be reviews or customer feedback about what makes you great. All of those things help build you as a person to that audience, and it helps build up your repeat and retention with the customers and that relationship. Unlike in a store, when they come in, you guys are the face of your store. They come in that front door, you are there, they see you, they get to talk to you, they hear your story, they learn about you, they build that relationship, and they keep coming back. This is your chance to do it on the website, is through your story and your about us, because you can't talk to them on the phone. You can't talk to them while they're on the site, unless you happen to be messaging them while they're on the site. But very rarely you're going to actually be talking to them live. So make sure that your website has all that there so they can build that relationship with you and come back and shop from you some more. Lastly, keep up to date on the homepage. If you have, let's say this is a web update that says spring is in. If this same web update is up 2 months from now when it's the middle of summer, customers are going to be confused. They're not going to like the page. If you have, stuff in your banner that you no longer are even carrying in the store, it's winter styles and now we're on to summer, people aren't going to keep browsing. They're going to assume you just have winter styles in your store. So you want to make sure that your homepage is maintained by the season, typically monthly. You want to have it make sense and be relevant for whatever's going on in your store, and make sure that your best product is forward. You guys are getting new product in the store every single week, which is amazing. You want to make sure that you're putting that in front of as many eyeballs as possible. The best way to do that is to put it all over your social media and on that homepage of your site and through email campaigns. And this is, just another place that you want to make sure that you're totally on brand with your newest arrivals and the best look and foot forward. Here's just some of the things that I mentioned kind of for the site, making sure you have your newest arrivals there, making sure you have an about us kind of section. And you can tie your social media into your website as well. The great thing about having like an Instagram feed or, Facebook feed on the bottom of your page is that every time you update social, it's updating that homepage for you. So it's taking one of the pieces out of the work that you have to do and kind of dropping it right in there for you, making it as, visual as possible. The other thing that you guys can do on your home pages is kind of build some sort of relationship or trust with your customers. You can do that through having, one example here is this one with Greta Sloan. She really wanted her customers to feel like they were actually in her store in a cutesy graphic way. She has a, drawing of her store on her homepage, and then throughout other pages on her site, on her events page, she has a drawing of the inside of her store and her customers cheersing with wine. And on her About Us page, there's a picture of all of her employees and their little sketched faces. So having some sort of branding and theme that you tie across that tells who you are, that really also speaks to your customers and shows them your story in addition to the About Us page. And anybody who wants to see the examples of what I just mentioned, I can share a link with you and show you them across her site, which is live. Okay, so second thing, obviously, one is put your best face forward. Said that about product listings and online sales. I'm going to say that about the website. Put your best face forward with your website. Once you have that in place, you got to market it. You got to get the word out about your products. And there's lots of different ways you can market it. The oldest and truest form of marketing, email campaigns. Nowadays, you have multiple other channels. Email still, though, is a really strong channel, especially if you have an older customer. The thing though is that you can't just send an email. You don't want to just send any email. You want to make sure, just like that homepage, it looks professional, it looks sharp, it's telling your story, and it's on brand every time. Your customers are seeing this. They probably get 50 emails in their inbox every day. You want to make sure that you're creating an aesthetic view for them and building a relationship with them, that they want to open your emails. They want to see what you're putting out there. They want to see your content. Just sending an email that has product listings in it that says new arrivals and nothing else, that's not really building anything with the customer. Unless they really want to see your new arrivals and your products, they're opting out or they're not opening those emails because they know they're not seeing anything new and fresh. You have to rotate up the emails. Sometimes it needs to be new arrivals, but sometimes it needs to be, hey, here's our, new brand, and we want to tell you about this new brand that we love. Or, hey, here's a collection we put together for you for Mother's Day with a lookbook and what we think you need. It'll vary based on time. Here's a sale, here's a this. You want to make sure you're having a conversation with them, giving them information, keeping them engaged and excited about what it is that you're saying, and making sure that they have, all the information they need to be able to purchase right there from the email. I can't stress enough how important having it be visually appealing is. This is fundamental to emails. If the email does not look good and it is not designed well, it will not perform as well. It just will not perform. Customers see great emails every day, and they've come to expect it. So you need to make sure that it looks as professional as anything in your store looks. You spend so much time caring about the way your store looks, making sure everything is in the right place, making sure everything looks beautiful. You got to do the same stuff with your marketing. The other thing I want to mention about email campaigns and websites is keep in mind the goal. So, sometimes you want to have the goal be to drive traffic online. You want them to be buying things. Maybe it's, here's a sale that we're running online and here's a promo code for online. But sometimes you want it to be more informational and also to drive traffic in store. It might be about an event. It might be about your new arrivals that are in store. Come in store, check it out, or buy online. It might be, like I said, about a new brand or a trend that you want to keep them up to date on. Start having that conversation with them early about, here's what we want you to know, here's who we are. And the more they're going to engage with you. It shouldn't matter if the sale happens on your website or the sale happens in your store. A sale is a sale, and it doesn't matter where it occurs. A sale is a sale, and the most important thing for you is to get as many sales as possible. So if you send an email out and your customers see the email and come in store and tell you like, oh, I saw your email and it was great, and then they buy something in store, that email drove that customer in store, and that customer purchased something in your store. Just because that email didn't lead to a sale online doesn't mean that email didn't lead to a sale. So a lot of times people think, oh, well, the email went out and I didn't get a sale online. Well, think about it this way. It can be online or it can be in store. Depending on your customer type, depending on your brand, will determine where your customers are buying. Depending on the age of your customer too, they might pick up the phone and call you instead of placing an order over the phone, over the computer, because they don't trust it if they're an older shopper. Happens to us all the time on Shopteeks. So be open to letting your customers shop the way they are, and don't judge your marketing based solely on where they are purchasing. The last thing I want to say about email campaigns and actually all marketing in general is it is important to stay up to date with trends for your customers. You want to be that person that they turn to when they want to know what to wear. You want to be that person that they go to and they say, hey, what's on trend this summer? What should I be wearing? What do I need to buy? What do I need in my closet? So make sure you're having that conversation in everything that you send out and every communication you have with them, setting yourself up to really be the hero and the thought leader of, here is what you need to be wearing, and here's what's perfect for your body type, and here's what's perfect for where you're traveling. You guys already know this stuff. Like, obviously you have great stores, you merchandise it, you already have the eye, you know what to buy, otherwise you wouldn't have a store. So you already know that. Now tell your customers that, and watch as they come to you more and more for guidance and advice, and engage with your emails. The more you set yourself up as educational and inspirational, the more your customers are going to come to you and want to come back. So here's just some examples of some emails that we've recently sent out and done. You can see they're on a variety of different topics, but trying to stay as much in tune with our customers as possible. We have on the left a cute email we did during COVID in the heat of lockdown, where everyone was doing Zoom and cocktail happy hours. match a cocktail to an outfit. And we put together a whole look to match each cocktail. Resonated really well with the shoppers. They had so much fun with it. Normally it would have been an in-store event where they did kind of a sip and cocktail event in store, but this is how we translated it to an email, which translated to sales. The one on the right was kind of an email that we sent out about spring coming up with different trends and looks of what we were predicting based on what this particular store in Southern California had. A lot of swimwear for them, floral, minis. Obviously, Southern California is very different than New York in regards to where they're at weather-wise right now. So you see different kind of trends and recommendations based on where the boutique is actually located. So just kind of in sum, making sure your emails are on trend, on point, they have a theme to them, and that you're having that regular conversation with your customer and building that trust and relationship with them and making sure that you're doing it consistently and beautifully. Lastly, I want to just talk about, one more thing on emails. Sorry, guys. Make sure when you do send an email that you don't try to go over too many topics. You want to be kind of direct. So if it's either a trend email you're sending out, or it's a new arrivals email, or maybe it's a sale email with like one or two badges in it promoting like an in-store event or something else. But when you get to saying like, I want to talk about trends and a sale, and I'm doing this in the store, and I'm doing this, it gets to be too confusing for the customer and they get overwhelmed. Try to keep your emails to 1 to 3 purposes of what you're trying to communicate in it. So maybe the body of the email is, here's all my new arrivals. And then there's a badge at the bottom that says, I have a Facebook Live event coming up next week. And then, maybe there's a badge that's like, join our loyalty program. After that, you're going to start confusing them. So try to just keep it kind of simple to the point. And make sure that every email you send has a purpose and you understand the purpose before you send it. So obviously social is a huge part of marketing nowadays. The biggest channels being Facebook and Instagram, Pinterest, and quickly growing TikTok. Obviously based on your customer and your audience, they'll be in different places at different times. What I will say about social is you have to know what works best for your customer. You have to know where your audience is and where you're going to get the biggest return for the investment of your time and your money. So, you definitely need to have a presence in all of the social channels. Like Shoptiques, we have a presence in everything. We have TikTok, we have Pinterest, we have Instagram, we have Yelp, we have everything. We're across Twitter, YouTube. But we really don't waste a lot of our time and energy on all of those channels. Most of our time and energy goes into Pinterest and TikTok right now because that's where we're seeing the biggest return and the biggest revenue generating for our business. That'll vary business to business depending on your Facebook and Instagram engagement. People that do a lot of Facebook Live events, you probably have a really strong Facebook following and engagement level there. People that have a great Instagram following, like maybe that's your best channel. So know your audience, know where they are, know where to spend your time and your energy. But regardless of where you're spending your time and your energy, making sure you have a presence across at least Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook will really help boost your sales. And I think if you don't have a TikTok, it's definitely worth something looking into, checking out. It is a growing channel, especially with a younger shopper that you should probably be a part of. And I think it's great gaining popularity with older populations as well, especially like moms. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity in that platform as it's just kind of coming up and growing. So the most important thing though, when you're dealing with these different social channels is to pay attention to your brand and your identity. Make sure that you're saying the right things, make sure that you're always using your authentic voice, make sure that you are putting forth your best brand and not saying something that's not about you. It's so important that you know who you are and know your voice and continue to communicate that. Don't try to be anybody else. Don't try to be like an influencer who's super popular. Be yourself and your customers will come. The second you try to be something else is the second they're going to see right through you and it's not going to work. So just make sure that they're reflective of you and that it communicates you in everything that you do. And then lastly, for the algorithms to work, and this is true across all of the channels, you got to do 3 things. One is you got to post regularly. You've got to make sure with your posts that you're using hashtags and you're tagging people and you're tagging products. And doing as much as you can to get that post visible. Number 2 is you need to engage. You need to engage with other people's posts. You need to like, you need to reshare, you need to comment. The more you engage with other people, the more it boosts you and gets you more visibility. The third thing is, and this is really something that, you know, your customers need to do, is they need to engage with you. You need to get your customers liking you. You need to get them following you. You need to get them reposting your posts or tagging you and stuff. I have a boutique in Jersey that does a great job of having their customers, whenever they put something on, do a hashtag for their boutique. And every single time, about once a month, they do a post on their social media, reposting all of their stuff, saying, you know, like customer appreciation post. Gets the most likes for them, gets a lot of engagement because they're talking to their customers, they're supporting their customers, and that feedback there is boosting their algorithm on Facebook. So just keep in mind that everything in the social world is about sharing, reposting, getting other people to share. The more you play the game, the more visibility you're going to get. The algorithms work the same way for kind of the ads. If you're doing ads in Facebook and Instagram, if you know me, you know I'm not a huge fan of ads in Facebook and Instagram, but they are kind of the devil you have to work with. Everybody does them, everybody runs them. So it's kind of hard to say I'm not a fan. I just think it's really challenging to get a return on your investment in Facebook and Instagram. There's a ton of competition. So if you are going to run those ads, definitely make sure you're playing the algorithms to your favor. Make sure that when you run the ads, you're running some of your ads for reach and not just website traffic. The more reach you get, the more visibility you get with your ads, the more you're going to get actual outcome from those ads. Make sure you're staying focused on where you're running the ads. Make sure you're running them as local as possible, or as small of a window community as possible. If you try to go really broad and do all of the US, there's way too much competition and you're never going to be seen. So just make sure you're paying attention to the algorithms, how they work, whether it's an ad or a post, and using it all to your favor. And then just a couple of things you can do in social. You know, obviously a great thing to do is giveaways. I know a lot of you do it. You can promote giveaways for likes or follows. You know, staying relevant, posting about what's happening, especially holidays or like trending days, because if you do the hashtag for the day, you know, like hashtag Women's Day, hashtag this, you're going to get much more visibility because those are popular trending tags. So make sure you know what tags are trending. There's lots of amazing social tools out there for planning social. If you need recommendations, talk to me, that have recommended hashtags. Like these are the trending hashtags right now. So definitely good to keep that top of mind and make sure you're posting the right stuff. And then, you know, again, staying consistent, staying true, making it easy for your shoppers to find and discover you. The last thing I'm going to touch on, and then I know this is running long, so I want to allow the last 10 minutes for questions, is just Google and affiliate. Google and affiliate is just another place that your products are listed. That gets you more visibility. The great thing about being part of Shoptiques is we do this for you. All of your products are listed in Google Shopping, and all of your products are listed in an affiliate network. Having your products listed in additional various sites like Honey and Ebates, which are couponing sites, List and ShopStyle, which are like discovery platforms. Having your styles there just gets more eyeballs on it. We have our shoppers, but these sites have millions of more shoppers than we have. So bringing more eyeballs to the table is really, really helpful. So the more places you can list your products, the more sales you're going to get. It's as simple as that. The more eyeballs, the more sales. Anybody who has a website through Shoptiques for their own website, we have started a program of listing your styles in Google to drive traffic to your direct site. There are a handful already in the program. If you're interested in being in the program, definitely reach out for more information. The great thing about being listed in Google Shopping is you can, you know, anybody who goes to Google and searches for a product, you're going to show up at the top of the Google page. Obviously, there's a lot of competition in Google Shopping, so you might not be on the first page. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. One of our kids' boutiques is consistently at the top for our boutique brand that they carry called Posh Peanut. Consistently comes to the top of Google, has gotten a ton of traffic from it. So it's a great channel and a great way to drive sales. You can also run promotions in Google. So we ran a promo code for Shoptiques for the, you know, for the month of March, where we said, you know, anybody who buys from Google gets to use this promo code, basically to help steal the traffic away from other websites that are also listing the same product on their Google platform. Different things you can do and try to drive traffic. But the great thing about these other various listing sites is just more eyeballs, and also that there's no cost to it. So affiliate, well, there's no upfront cost to it. So Google and affiliate, Google has no cost for listing whatsoever. there is cost to getting integrated and set up with them, but there's not like day-to-day listing. There's no like commission that they take if somebody comes from their site and purchases from you, I should say. So there's there's cost to listing in there, but there's no cost for commission. For affiliate, what's amazing is your products get listed in there and you only pay if someone buys. So it's really truly the easiest way to kind of get your products in front of eyeballs without having any skin in the game, because you only pay if somebody buys and keeps. If they buy and they return, you don't pay. If they don't buy, you don't pay. So it's just an alternative to something like an influencer, which can get you lots of eyeballs, but you're putting in a lot of money and not necessarily seeing the benefit from it. So I know that was a lot, and I know I took up more time than intended kind of running through everything, but I do want to open the floor for the remaining time to Q&A. If anybody has a question that wants to speak, you can raise your hand or put a question into the Q&A form. So I'm going to go ahead and Mary, I'm going to go ahead and allow you to ask your question.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I have two quick questions. I've been working with a whole system on social media, you know, building my brand. And one of the things that's really puzzling to me and frustrating is it's been told to us that the hashtags, really you can't use ones that have been used over a certain number, but because it's just not going to work. I don't really understand that. And also, because I have a sustainable fashion company, all of the hashtags that I would be using, you know, to make people aware of that would have to do with those words. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm going to be honest. You can talk to 20 different people and you'll probably get like 20 different thoughts on how to handle SEO and social and marketing and everything. So, you know, obviously my opinion varies on that from the company that you're working with. I think that I can see where they're coming from. They're probably telling you like, oh, that hashtag is inundated and it's flooded and there's lots of people in there. So if you use it, nobody's going to be able to find you. Yeah. That's true. It's going to be harder for you to be found because there's a lot of people. But if you don't use it, the counter is true, which is they'll never find you. So my recommendation would be to do both. Use the one that everyone's using and use your own and try to build your own hashtag so people can search directly for your hashtags. The purpose of the hashtags is twofold. One is you can have your own hashtag, like, you know, hashtag Roan if you want to. That's one of our boutiques. That's their hashtag. Only they're using that. So their customers can use that to find and engage with them, and their customers can reuse that hashtag. It's great to have a hashtag that's specific to you, but then you should also use the hashtags for customers that don't know you, that aren't looking for you directly, and they can find you through those other options.
Yeah, because I've been noticing when I go to other, you know, of course, exactly what you were saying, I started late in this, but realized that I have to be liking and really keeping on top of these other brands so that they'll do the same for me. And almost all the other sustainable brands, and there are lots of them now, use the hashtags that I would want to use too. And so I'm glad you said that. I think I was taking it very literally, and it was really said in kind of an emphatic way. But I'm just feeling like I am building the brand. I mean, I've had my business for quite a while, but I hadn't gone into things this deeply before. And so I'm really getting involved in, like you said, who I am, what I'm doing. I use this fabric that's made from recycled plastic. You know, what that place is like, what my vendors, I make everything in America. So I guess I'm doing the right things. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I mean, listen, I think it's an ongoing discussion that you're never going to, you know, have the perfect answer to. I think having hashtags that are specific to you that can start building that branding and that customer recognition, you should be doing all the time. And have it be consistent across every single post you post.
Okay.
There's certain hashtags that you use with every single post you post.
That's what I was going to ask you.
There could be other ones that you use depending on the subject of the post. And those are probably going to be the ones that are more trending in there. Again, hashtags like trending ones, yes, it's going to be harder for you to be seen. Doesn't mean you're never going to be seen. I also will be, you know, I think the way people are engaging with these social platforms is evolving every day as well. I think that people are searching a little bit less by hashtag than they used to in the past. That doesn't mean don't use them by any means. I do think that they, especially with things like reels and stories and that kind of technology, that kind of functionality, people are using those a little bit less because they're not searching for those things. Those things are getting pushed to them. So they're just watching them in a row. And so I think in that case, you know, hashtags are less valuable, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't use them because there are still people searching by hashtags.
I mean, what else would they search by? Just, I don't know. I feel like,
You know, they could search by, so, I mean, I think sometimes people are searching and sometimes people are just literally sitting there watching the recommended for you reels or watching the stories that get pushed to them. So part of, I think the algorithm is becoming more and more important than the hashtags.
okay. Well, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that feedback.
Of course, yeah. Let's see, does anybody else have a question?
If nobody else is saying anything, I I realize that I have I don't use them on you know, on social, but I do have a dress form on my website, and I'm thinking, oh, now I feel like that's probably going to be going by the wayside vis-a-vis what you were talking about with it.
A dress form?
A dress, yeah, a dress form. What were you calling it? A, you know, that you put clothes on. You had said don't use that.
Oh, a mannequin. A mannequin. Yes, don't use mannequins.
Form is another.
100, especially if you're making your own clothing, do not use mannequins.
Yeah, no, I'm not making them. but they're all made, you know, domestically. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely don't use mannequins.
But. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So I see here that we have a question. Oh, somebody else was raising their hand. Okay, so how can we do affiliate in Google? If I'm not sure if I'm understanding that question correctly. So affiliate and Google are two different things. Affiliate is typically done through an affiliate marketplace like Rakuten or Pepper Jam, or, you know, there's a lot of them out there that you'll find. And affiliate is, they basically help you run it. So you would go in there, they would put some code on your site, you'd be able to list your products, they'd have your catalog feed, and then it just kind of all automatically happens. You do have to do some work with building the relationship with an affiliate. It is, I will not lie, there is work that is involved in affiliate. And that's probably one of the best benefits that we do provide for people that list on our site, is we manage all of those relationships for you with the publishers to get the visibility in the affiliate network. But if you have specific questions about how to get started in affiliate or what to do or recommendations, I'm happy to help anybody with that offline, kind of on a one-to-one basis. As far as Google goes, you basically can set up an account in the Google Merchant Center. There's ways to list products for anybody who's on, like I said, for anybody who's on our website, we're hosting your website for you. You just would need to give us a call. Well, reach out to me and I'll help talk to you about the program, how you can get involved, how you can get your products listed in there, and what that entails. But we actually, as a benefit, manage that for you as well. So we will be managing affiliate and Google, not just for Shoptiques, but for your own direct websites, if they're programs that you want to be involved in. So that's something that we can definitely discuss and talk about more for anybody who wants to learn about it. Okay, so for a business that has its own website, how can I utilize Shoptiques to grow my business? So so if you have your own website, you can definitely still get involved with Shoptiques and list on Shoptiques. We would just need to kind of learn a little bit more about you and your store. We do only allow boutiques that have a physical selling storefront to be on Shoptiques. It's one of the unique things about us because we feel it's really important to support the brick and mortar business owners, since your guys' margins are totally different than an online only retailer. Outside of that, though, we love to speak to all different businesses, learn more about you. And you can definitely list your products on shoptiques.com, even if you don't want to do your website with us or through us directly. I can send a link to set up a call to talk to you more about it one-on-one after this meeting. Okay, and then we're making a push to start using Pinterest. I noticed in a lot of examples, there were different stock photos to kind of tie the products together with specific theme. Would you just pull the stock photos off of Google? Great question. So two different places. So yes, when you're doing a Pinterest board, there's two different keys to Pinterest. And I honestly feel like I should have a full session just on Pinterest because I think a lot of people don't really know a ton about it. With Pinterest, you want to have boards, and then within your boards, you have your pins, your actual pins. And you don't need to do a new board every single week. You want to actually add to your old boards consistently. And you also want to be creating new boards. So you want to kind of have the fine balance between how many boards are on your page, how frequently you're adding them, and adding to the old ones. Now, what goes inside an actual board? You want to have pinned products that are actual shoppable products to your website. And then two is you want to have pinned products, and then you want to have like lifestyle images, exactly what you described. And you can pull them from two different places. One thing I recommend is, yes, finding your own lifestyle images from Google or something like that. Make sure that you have the rights to put them there before you put them there. There's a website called Pexels, PEXELS.com. They have unlimited free stock images. It's a fabulous resource for your website, email marketing needs, social needs. If you ever need a lifestyle picture, we use it a ton in addition to the paid sources that we use, but what's better than paid is free. So I definitely recommend checking them out. Adobe has some free imagery as well. That's great. So there's lots of places you can get great stock photos where you have permissions to share them and they're free. Sometimes if you steal from, like, let's say a brand's Instagram page, they'll come after you for it. If you're going to steal from a brand's Instagram page, repost it, play the algorithm, repost for them, give them the credit. They'll never complain. The other thing you want to do though in Pinterest is repin other people's pins. So in your board, you can pull those pictures from, like, say, a Google, or you can just look on Pinterest for like a good lifestyle picture and repin it into your board. Again, repinning is just playing into their algorithms. The more you talk to them, engage with them, do things in their platforms, the more they're going to boost and promote you. Perfect. Okay. I don't see any other questions, but I'll just kind of give a minute in case somebody has anything in the world they want to ask me about Shoptiques, marketing, life, my life, who I am. I don't know, anything. Okay, then. Oh, now I got question. Perfect. Okay. Diane, the floor is yours.
Where are you?
For those of you who know me, I am a moving target. So every time you've talked to me, I've probably been in a different place. At this exact moment, I'm in Arizona. Just for the holidays, for Passover and Easter.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was that a simple question?
Well, I like it. Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you.
The beautiful background.
I thought I would give you guys something entertaining to look at instead of just
and the birds chirping.
And the birds chirping. Well, thank you. Okay. Well, I don't think anybody else has any questions that I see. So I really want to thank you guys all so much for your time today. We will send out a recording. As always, I'll send out a survey. I really would love your guys' feedback on what you want to hear from next, what topics matter to you. And also time of day we're doing this. We did test out a new time today because I got a lot of feedback. So that today was better than other days. So definitely keep me posted, and would love to hear from you guys what you want to hear and when you want to hear it. So thank you guys so much. Have a great day. If you need me, you all know where to find me, but I'll be sending out my calendar link as always. Thank you guys for joining.